Have you ever felt like you're just going through the motions? Like your life is a perfectly painted picture, but the colors have started to fade? That's where we find Emma Carter. At 28, she's living the New York City dream, or so it seems. An assistant at a trendy Soho art gallery, her days are a whirlwind of caffeine, canvas, and chaos. She's surrounded by the art she adores, but her own creative spark? It feels buried under a mountain of to-do lists and the crushing weight of unspoken dreams. She sketches furiously in her little apartment, her notebooks filled with vibrant worlds she's too scared to bring to life. She tells herself one day, but one day always feels a lifetime away. Then there's Jack Rivers. At 31, he's the epitome of a man who has it all together. A successful architect, his world is one of clean lines, blueprints, and concrete structures that reach for the sky. He's calm, composed, a steady rock in the turbulent sea of the city. But beneath that polished surface, a different kind of blueprint is taking shape. He is haunted by a past he never talks about and a quiet longing for the sound of ocean waves instead of taxi horns. He has decided to trade the glass towers of Manhattan for the weathered shingles of his family's old seaside inn in Maine, a place that holds both his history and his hope for a more meaningful future. He's just tying up loose ends, counting down the days until he can leave the city for good. Their two worlds, so perfectly parallel, were never meant to intersect. But New York has a funny way of playing matchmaker, often in the most chaotic way possible. It happened on a Tuesday. Emma, juggling a tray of coffees and lost in a daydream about her own future gallery, literally collided with fate. Or, more accurately, with Jack's very expensive, very white shirt. Hot coffee went everywhere. It was a disaster. A flurry of apologies, napkins, and flustered energy from Emma met a surprisingly calm, amused smile from Jack. "It's just coffee," he said, his voice a steady anchor in her storm of embarrassment. "But I think you owe me a new one." That clumsy, coffee-stained encounter should have been the end of it. A funny little New York story to tell their friends. But as they sat across from each other in that crowded cafe, something shifted. What started as a simple apology turned into an hour, then two. They talked about everything and nothing. They talked about the pressures of the city, the art that moved them, the quiet dreams they held close. Emma saw a flicker of something wistful in the calm architect's eyes, and Jack saw a fire in the messy artist that she herself had forgotten was there. That one coffee turned into a week of stolen moments. They discovered the city together, not as jaded locals, but as two people seeing it for the first time through each other's eyes. There were late-night walks through Central Park, the city lights twinkling like fallen stars. They shared secrets on a rooftop in Brooklyn, the skyline stretching out before them like a promise. They found themselves laughing in the pouring rain, completely soaked but feeling more alive than ever. Emma started sketching again, not just in her notebook, but with a renewed passion, her lines bolder, her colors brighter. Jack found himself delaying his calls to the contractor in Maine, telling himself it was just for one more day, one more conversation. In the rhythm of the city, they fell in love. It was a love that felt both impossibly fast and like it had been waiting for them their whole lives. For the first time, Emma felt seen. Not just as an assistant or a girl who was good at sketching, but as an artist with a voice. And for the first time, Jack felt understood. He found someone who didn't just see the successful architect, but the man who yearned for the sea. It was perfect. It was magical. And it was built on borrowed time. The moment came on a cool autumn evening, the leaves in the park turning brilliant shades of red and gold. They were holding hands, talking about the future, a future Emma was finally starting to believe in. That's when Jack told her. He explained his plan to leave, to go to Maine, to rebuild the inn, to start a new life. The words hung in the air between them, heavy and cold. Maine. It sounded like another planet. Suddenly, their perfect New York love story had an expiration date. Emma felt the familiar chill of fear creep back in. The city, which had just started to feel like a place of infinite possibility, now felt like a cage again. She was faced with an impossible choice. Stay here, in the safety of her routine, her job, the life she knew so well? Or take the biggest risk of her life, a leap of faith not just for love, but for the artist she was finally becoming? Jack didn't ask her to come with him. He couldn't. He saw the fear in her eyes, the same fear that had kept her from her dreams for so long. And he loved her too much to be another cage. Their goodbye was heartbreaking, a quiet, tear-filled promise to never forget, whispered on a subway platform. As his train pulled away, Emma felt her world, once so full of color, drain back to gray. The months that followed were a blur of heartbreak and hard work. But this time, something was different. Instead of letting the pain crush her, Emma poured it onto her canvases. She painted the joy of their late-night walks, the melancholy of their goodbye, the vibrant energy of the love they shared. Her grief became her fuel. The fear that had held her back was replaced by a fierce determination. She quit her job, cashed in her meager savings, and rented a tiny storefront in the East Village. She worked day and night, transforming the dusty space into a gallery of her own. She called it the Crossroads. Opening night was a terrifying, exhilarating dream. The small gallery was packed with friends, strangers, and local art critics. Her paintings lined the walls, each one a chapter of her story with Jack. They were raw, honest, and full of a hope she didn't even know she had. As she stood in the middle of the room, her heart pounding, the crowd parted. And there he was. Standing by the door, holding a single red rose, was Jack. He looked different, more relaxed, his shoulders less tense, the sea breeze still clinging to him. But his smile was the same. It was the smile that had seen her from the very beginning, a smile that said he had never, for 1 second, stopped loving her. He had seen the gallery opening online. He told her he had finished the major renovations on the inn, but it was missing something. It was missing her. It was missing art. It was missing its heart. He hadn't come back to ask her to give up her dream. He had come back to ask her to bring it with her. The final scene of their story isn't in New York. It's in Maine. The salty air whips through Emma's hair as she stands on the porch of the beautifully restored Seaside Inn, a paintbrush in her hand. The sign outside now reads The Inn at Sunset Harbor and Gallery. Jack is beside her, his arm around her waist, as they watch the sun dip below the horizon, painting the sky in fiery shades of orange and pink. Here, they've built a new life together, one filled with the quiet rhythm of the tides, the smell of salt and paint, and the promise of endless sunsets. Emma didn't just take a leap of faith for love, she took a leap of faith for herself, and in doing so, found a home she never knew she was looking for. Thank you so much for watching our story today. If you enjoyed it, please don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe to our channel, and ring the bell so you never miss a new tale. We'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. See you next time.